I have drastically changed my opinion of this guy since our running back show, Audric Estime.
He's good.
He's just good.
He's good. I think people are kind of trying to make him something he's not. If at first it's like, oh, Audric Estime is underrated. It's like, now, I got Audric Estime, RB1. I'd have him above Bijan Robinson last year. What are you guys doing?
Yeah, I'd trade up to 28 for him.
Right. The Patriots have no choice but to take him at 3.
They can't trade the pick. The Patriots pass up 3-1s from Denver to take Audric Estime.
Marvin Harris Jr. sitting in the green room, just every camera in the place is staring at him.
His dad's on the phone. He's on the phone. How did this happen?
Estime's like a top golf or something. He didn't even think he's getting drafted.
And they're like, hey, it's Elliott Wolf from the New England Patriots. How you doing, Audric? He's like, good. You ready to be a New England Patriot? And he's like, I thought day 3 was Saturday.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, he just took you 3rd overall.
Welcome to the opening bell of the NFL Stock Exchange podcast. I'm Trevor Sikkema. That is Connor Rogers joining you guys on Draft Week, baby. It is Draft Week for the 2024 NFL Draft. If you've been listening to the show since the very first episode of Summer Scouting, God, we made it. We are here. It is Draft Week. I'm so excited for this. We have got some amazing shows for you guys. All the content that we're going to be possibly going to be able to produce for you, we're going to give you this week, starting with today's episode, and it is revealing both of our top 200 big boards for the 2024 NFL Draft. As you can see, Connor is donning his New York Rangers jersey, who hold 1 win in the playoffs, and I am not donning a Tampa Bay Lightning jersey because they have not won yet in the playoffs, and I don't have the ability to do it. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not a fake fan. I'm actually just wearing a t-shirt, and if you can see the boxes behind me, it's because it's also moving week for me. You know, good job, Trev.
I like the touch.
Way to plan those things. So, yeah.
But like, you could have pushed the box like a half a foot and it's out of the shop. But
the thing is, I can't.
You can't. Oh, never mind.
I can't.
Never mind. Because it's. I like it though. It really has the feel. This show is always very in the moment. It probably doesn't. Like, if people want to watch this episode 5 months later, they're like, "Why does Connor have a hockey jersey on?" And Trevor's room looks like it's being packed up. But in the moment, yeah, we keep a revolving set around here.
I can't wait. This is the last episode that I am doing here in this room. So I'm going to be exchanging one plain white wall for another. You guys will see soon.
Love
we'll get to that at some point. Connor, how you doing, my friend? Draft week. What's the spirits like? What's the sleep like? Obviously, you're riding high off the playoff win for the Rangers, but how do we feel? Couple days until the draft kicks off. How we doing, my friend?
Shockingly well. I have been I've been up every night just hammering away at this final big board, this top 300, and I'm done as we sit here. I finished literally this morning the final 5 spots I had left on this thing.
Who's the last guy you watched?
The last guy I watched was actually Austin McNamara, the punter from Texas
Let's go, baby. Let's go.
And he wasn't last on the top 300. He was second to last.
Yeah. Oh.
To be fair, like, I don't value specialists, probably like a lot of other people.
Hold on. I just thought of this. When you think about it, the last pick of the draft isn't really Mr. Irrelevant, right? I was just thinking about who is laughed on your big board. Because Mr. Irrelevant, you get a jersey, you're known, you get a title. The actual Mr. Irrelevant is actually the person who is picked before
100%
the final pick of the draft.
It's a great take. Take. What doesn't Mr. Irrelevant like get things now too? Did they get a car? Feels like they should get a car.
Yeah, you get a Bugatti.
That would be you should honestly get a Honda Civic or a Prius. Like something like really reliable and like environment friendly.
This is true. You
don't get a Ferrari. That doesn't make sense.
And it can't be a new one either. It's got to be a used Honda Civic.
Right. I like that a lot.
Used Prius. Something.
It has to have at least 175,000 miles on it. But it works. It's a car.
But it does work.
Getting a car, like your first car. I won't take us too off the rails here, and this probably isn't their first car because they're probably like 24 years old. The Mr. Irrelevant draft pick, I would think.
Yeah, hopefully.
So it might not hit the same. It's not like when you're 16 or 17 and you're like, wow, I can go wherever I want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nissan Altima for me was the first car.
I had a very small pickup truck. It was a GMC. I don't even know what it was. It was small and old, and it worked. So it was awesome.
That's all that mattered. Small, old,
and I could just throw all my shit in the back of it. So I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
Small, old, worked. Could have been the Jason Kelce story, you know. Could have been the Jason Kelce of trucks, though, you know, because that was just as reliable as it came, you know.
Think about this, NFL. Mr. Irrelevant gets a car.
All right. How do we want to do this? Top 200. I think the best way to do it for the people out there is let's go 200 to 151. I know it's a lot of names. Just listing them off. You don't say anything about any of the players. Like, just list them off from 200 all the way to 151. So people who are audio only can maybe recognize a couple of names. And then I'll go through, you can go through, point out some players who, I think the best way to do it is probably say, hey, who, when you look at their name and their number, where you go, man, I like him better than that. Like, I like him better than what the number says next to him. And that can kind of be the way that we start this conversation. I feel like that's a good way to go over some of these. So you want to start first? You want me to go first?
I will. Before I do, let's actually promote ourselves a little bit here. By the time you're listening to this, if you want to follow along and you want to see it bigger than the top 200, go to pff.com and pull up Trevor's big board. For me, by the time you're listening to this, go to NBCsports.com and pull up my big board.
Let's go.
It'll probably be a little easier for you to follow along. And even if you don't, if you just have time later on and you want to see the players that, because you're like in the comments, what about, Austin McNamara? And you're just like, he's in there. Like, he's just not in the top 200. So,
yes.
All right. With that being said.
Good call. That was a good call out by you.
All right. 200. Dominique Hampton, safety from Washington. 199.
You know what's funny?
No way.
No. He's 204 for me.
It's dangerously close.
So that's dangerously close. That's amazing.
Dangerously close. 199, Javion Cohen from Miami. He's a summer scouting legend, by the way. Guard, I should say. 198, Joe Milton, quarterback, Tennessee. 197, Taj Washington, wide receiver, USC. 196, Gabe Hall, defensive tackle from Baylor. 195, Christian Boyd, defensive tackle from Northern Iowa. 194, Kingsley, Mr. Florida. Is it Egaquan?
Yes, Egaquan, I believe.
Nailed it. Yeah. Center from Florida. Man, some of these names back here are tough. 193, Edifon Olafosio?
Yeah, Olafosio, I believe.
Olafosio, linebacker from Washington. 192, Dwight McGlothern.
Or is it Olufosio?
Yeah,
that rolls off the tongue a little bit better. Olufosio.
Yeah, that's pretty nice. Well, I'll revisit that. I will make sure I have that up. I'm reading off my list that does not have pronunciations next to them, so I apologize. Dwight McGlothern, cornerback from Arkansas.
Okay.
Josh Newton, summer scouting legend.
Let's go, baby.
Cornerback from TCU, 191.
Okay.
190, Eric Watts, edge rusher from UConn. 189, Jaheim Bell, 3-time summer scouting legend, tight end from Florida State. 188, Jaquan Jackson, wide receiver from Tulane. 187, Jalen Carleys, safety from Missouri, but I'm evaluating him as a linebacker. 186, Cornelius Johnson, a wide receiver from Michigan. 185, Yabi Oki Anoma, edge rusher from Charlotte.
Nice.
184, Leonard Taylor, defensive tackle from Miami. 183, Nelson Caesar, edge rusher from Houston. 182, Kalen King, cornerback from Penn State. 181, Layden Robinson, guard from Texas A&M. 180, Rasheen Ali, running back from Marshall. 179, Bo Braid, safety out of Maryland. 178, Marcus Harris, defensive tackle from Auburn. 177, Bucky Irving, running back from Oregon. I told you he was draftable. I held up my promise. Gut punch. 176, Jordan Travis, quarterback from Florida State. 175, Jaden Crumedy, defensive tackle from Mississippi State. 174, Shao Smith Wade. I think he's a slot corner from Washington State. 173, Walter Roos, offensive tackle from Oklahoma. He played left tackle for them. 172 from the CFL, Quantez Stiggers.
Dude, I didn't get to watch. So, you know what sucks? I didn't get to put him on the PFF board.
You still have time.
What?
You still have time.
No, I know I do. And I want to watch him, but I had to get through with filling out the PFF board. And I can't put him on the website.
Oh, there's a software issue.
Yes. So like I couldn't put him in rankings. I couldn't put him on the big board. I couldn't do it.
It's got to be figured out for sure. I mean, this is a weird one where Quantez played for the Toronto Argonauts. Mm-hmm. He was the most outstanding rookie in the CFL. He did not play college football where he has to go through the draft process. And he is very interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting player. 171, Justin Aboigbe?
From
Alabama. Defensive tackle.
Aboigbe.
170, Isaiah Davis, running back from South Dakota State. 169, Johnny Wilson, wide receiver from Florida State. 168, Jacob Cowling, wide receiver from Arizona. 167, Trevor Wallace, linebacker from Kentucky. 166, Jalen Harrell, edge rusher from Michigan. 165, Curtis Jacobs, linebacker from Penn State. 164, Luke McCaffrey, wide receiver out of Rice. 163, Jalen Simpson, the safety corner from Auburn. 162, Mason McCormick, interior offensive lineman from South Dakota State. 161, Malik Mustafa, safety out of Wake Forest. 160, AJ Barner, the tight end out of Michigan. 159, Cedric Johnson, edge rusher from Ole Miss. 158, Keaton Oladapo, the safety out of Oregon State. 157, Xavier Thomas, edge rusher from Clemson. 156, Nehemiah Pritchett, cornerback from Auburn. 155, Sione Vaki, safety out of Utah. 154, Jalen McMillan, wide receiver out of Washington. 153, Kalen Bullock, the ball-hawking safety out of USC. 152, Christian Jones, offensive tackle out of Texas, longtime starter at tackle for Texas. And finally, 151, Aeneas Smith, wide receiver out of Texas A&M.
Man, okay, so I do want to kind of shout out, like, okay, who do you kind of like wish you were higher on? I think just off the top, I am so much higher on these wide receivers on my big board than you're going to be. Like, where was Johnny Wilson for you?
I knew that would be one we'd differ on significantly. I had him at 169.
Okay, I have Johnny Wilson at 80th overall.
Wow. Okay, that's almost 100 spots.
I know, and I also have Bucky Irving like 100 spots ahead of you. Like I have him. Where is he? Bucky Irving is 79th, so it's almost 100 spots above you. Jalen McMillan was another one that I was shocked that you were as low on him. I've got him 85th on my big board.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna have some big differences, and I would imagine I'm gonna have. It's not that I'm lower on the class. I think I just have different guys higher because I do have a lot of wide receivers up there.
Right. I have a ton of wide receivers pretty high on my big board. Like you mentioned Aeneas Smith. I don't think I have Aeneas in my top 100, but I think he's just outside of it. Where's Aeneas? He's 118. So I guess, okay, he's not like that. He's not that.
No, that's pretty close. Where do you have Jamari Thrash?
Where do I have Thrash? Great question. Search function. Probably should be using it. Oh, I typed in trash. That's
he's definitely not that.
He is not that. 112.
Oh, okay. I have him 93rd. I thought I was going to be way higher on him than a lot of people.
No, okay. All right. So, okay, let's those are a couple of things that stood out. Well, I would say the player that we might have the biggest difference on in this it's probably going to be Bucky Irving. But
yeah, I was going to say Bucky Irving.
It's got to be Bucky Irving, but Xavier Thomas as well.
Yes, I knew that from the Edge class episode we did.
I had Xavier Thomas 83rd, so that's a pretty
okay.
That's gonna be pretty different than yours. But talk to me about the guys that you had in that range, the 200 to 151, who when you look at their number next to them, you just go like, man, for whatever reason, I just wish you were higher on this board.
Without a doubt, it starts with Rasheen Ali, the running back out of Marshall.
Okay,
like I have him at 180. If he gets back to the player he was in 2021, was it? And I'll pull up his numbers here because he got hurt in 2022. I think Ali's a really good player, like a really good player. Yeah, 2021, he had over 1,400 yards and he got hurt and missed most of 2022. And he was good this year. I didn't think he was the same guy as 2021, but I thought he was good. I really like him. I think, and it's also the running back aspect of it. He's one for me for sure. Okay. Is he in your top 200?
He is, but barely. I think he's like 199.
Okay.
It's funny because at the Senior Bowl, I liked him a decent amount. Like, it's really hard to stand out as a running back at an All-Star event. And I think that he had some of the best runs in practices. I got to give him credit for it. But when I watched his tape and when I looked at specifically a lot of his PFF stable metrics, he just does not do a lot beyond his offensive line. Like,
yeah, it's fair.
The missed tackles forced per attempt is 19th percentile over 2022 and 2023, kind of cumulative. So having both of those years, and the yards after contact was under 3, so it's 2.91, which is 23rd percentile. So there was not a lot that. I mean, if I think he sees the line decently well, I think he's got decent vision. He just wasn't a big creator for me outside of, okay, if he saw the hole and it was blocked up correctly, he could get you the yards that you wanted designed behind the offensive line. But I didn't see him super creative outside of that.
I think that's really fair. Another guy that I know we're going to agree on in this spot, I have Taj Washington at...
Yeah.
Like, it's just, you know me by now. I have Taj at 197.
Yeah.
He caught everything this year. He's really smart. He plays special teams. He's a slot only, and he's small. But he's a good player. Like, he's a classic, like, this is the 5th wide receiver on my roster every year.
Right.
And he's barely in my top 200. Now, a part of that is so many wide receivers in this class have more upside. I just thought he was a really nice player that I was like, man, I wish I could have had him higher, but there's just so many wide receivers.
I have him 129, and it was kind of, it was just, you like the tape. He's a super smart player. I mean, I watched him at Shrine Bowl practices and just every day, man. I know a lot of people like to talk about Malik Washington when he was at Shrine Bowl practices, but Taj Washington was just as uncoverable. He was just as productive as Malik Washington was. The only thing is that he's tiny. He's really tiny. And so even, I mean, his athletic scores that we have, and we've got some athletic numbers that we're just starting to roll out at PFF. And he graded really highly in in-game athleticism scores for us too. So he's small, but he's a good athlete. Like, he's a really good athlete even for his size. So I had him at 129. He was the first one I wrote down where I was like, oh, wow, you're lower on him. But I get it, right? He's outlier small.
That is just,
there's no doubt about it.
You know me, I always make my bets on outliers, and he's
below 10th percentile in like every single measurable.
Yeah. So. Yeah. That was one. I'll talk about one more player before I throw to you, because I know this is going to be a long exercise. I think I'm intrigued by a guy like Jalen Carley's playing actual linebacker.
Like, I don't think I watched him.
He's a gigantic safety. I had him on the list from summer scouting. It's funny. He's one of the first players I ever watched in this draft, because I watched him for summer scouting, and he's one of the last players I ever watched for this draft. And I barely watched him in between. I watched him about a week ago, and I watched him in June or July. And it was the same exact watch, like gigantic safety that is playing safety in college, but I think can really be an NFL linebacker with his speed. So I always like kind of seeing where the conversion, like, this guy's 6'3", 230, and he runs 4.5 flat. That's a linebacker.
There are some funny giant safety / linebackers, right?
Oh yeah,
Tyler Owens from
James
Texas
Williams.
Tech. Who?
James Williams from Miami.
James Williams.
He's like the prototype of it.
Carlisle. I think Dominic Hampton as well from Washington's basically like the same thing. It's like, okay, you're just a linebacker. Like, you're listed as a safety, I think, because they want you to roam around more than necessarily have a specific run fit. But you're going to be a linebacker at the NFL level if you're going to make it. So I think there's a lot of those guys in this class.
If
that's your thing, you're
going to love it.
Then you're going to love it. And you're going to love it. Okay. Anybody else you want to shout out from that group?
It sounds like one guy that's going to go way higher than I have him. And I was like, he's fine on tape. I didn't think he had really good instincts. Was Trevor Wallace, the linebacker out of Kentucky. I have him at 167. Like, I don't know. I don't really love this linebacker class in general. There's some traits there, but I wasn't like, oh, I'm going to take him in the 3rd or 4th round and he's going to start for me soon. So how'd you see him?
I think I will get to him.
Okay.
I think he's in this group for
Nice.
me. Where was he? Yeah, he's 168 for me.
Whoa, that's crazy. I had him 167.
Wow. You know,
sometimes our brains just turn into like iCloud and just become the same thing.
We should do a podcast.
Maybe we should actually try doing a podcast.
You know, all right, you ready?
See if anyone want to listen to it, please go on.
We can talk. You know, we'll talk about Trevor Wallace now. I just saw an athlete, right, and a good athlete. But here's the trouble with him for me. He reacts basically the entire time he's on the field. 100%. There's no anticipation, so you don't even the athleticism that you see is like recovery speed or his ability to make up for not seeing something as fast as he needs to. And at the NFL level, sure, like athletes really helps to be a good athlete, but I need more than that from you. You know, so a lot of people like Trevor Wallace and the ceiling that he could be, and I just think he's a long way away from the ceiling that people project him to have. He's just he's too far out for that to me. He's too far out from that to me in order for me to be able to have him higher on this big board. All right, you want me to go through my 200?
Let's rock and roll through it. Yep.
All right, Dwight McGlothern, the cornerback from Arkansas, is at 200. Rasheen Ali, 199, the halfback from Marshall. Michael Barrett, the linebacker from Michigan, 198. 197, Justin Eboigbe from Alabama, the edge rusher there. Jalen Harrell, the edge rusher from Michigan, 196. Logan Lee, the defensive lineman, I don't know what you want to call him, edge rusher, interior, defensive lineman, whatever, from Iowa. I like good football player, back-to-back state wrestling champ, baby. I can't disrespect him, keep him out of the top 200. Javian Cohen, summer scouting legend, the guard from Miami, Florida, 194. 193, Bo Bray, the safety from Maryland. 192, Johnny Dixon, the cornerback from Penn State. 191, Tyron Hopper, from the linebacker from Missouri. 190, Isaac Urendo, the halfback from Louisville. 189, Josh Newton, summer scouting legend, cornerback from TCU. Number 188, Darius Muasau, the linebacker from UCLA. Then we'll stick with UCLA for 187, Grayson Murphy, the edge rusher there. 186, Tavian Robinson, the wide receiver from Kentucky. 185, Miles Cole, the edge rusher from Texas Tech. 184, Josh Proctor, the safety from Ohio State. 183, Kamani Vidal, from the halfback from Troy. 182, we got specialist, baby. Troy Taylor, the punter from Iowa. Absolute cannon coming in at 182. 181, KT Levison, the offensive tackle from Kansas State. 180, Nehemiah Pritchett, the cornerback from Auburn. 179, Javon Foster, the offensive tackle from Missouri. 178, Steele Chambers, the linebacker from Ohio State. 177, Kalen King, corner from Penn State. 176, Cody Schrader, the halfback from Missouri. 175, J.D. Bertrand, the linebacker from Notre Dame. 174, Bo Limmer, the safety from Arkansas. 173, Kamal Haddon, the cornerback from Tennessee. 172, Keaton Oladapo, from the safety from Oregon State. Actually, he's one of those guys that I didn't even mention. It's like the safety linebacker type of guy. 171, Walter Rouse, the offensive tackle from Oklahoma. 170, Anthony Gould, the wide receiver from Oregon State. 169, Braden McGregor, edge rusher from Michigan. 168, Trevor Wallace, linebacker, Kentucky. 167, Jordan Travis, quarterback, Florida State. 166, DeCamerion Richardson, cornerback from Mississippi State. 165, Nelson Caesar, the edge rusher from Houston. 164, Javonte Jean-Baptiste, the edge rusher from Notre Dame. 163, Zach Zinter, the offensive guard from Michigan. 162, Jordan Whittington, my boy, wide receiver from Texas. 161, Marcus Rosemy-Jack Saint, the wide receiver from Georgia. 160, Jalen Coker, the wide receiver from Holy Cross. 159, Jaden Sheardon, halfback from Monmouth.
Whoa.
Let's go, baby. Just as Dave Solfaro says, young man's got some skirt to him. Just absolutely skirting out there. 158, Tyler Davis, the interior defensive lineman from Clemson. 157, the incredible Holker, Dalen Holker from Colorado State. 156, Cam Hart, the cornerback from Notre Dame. 155, Jaheim Bell, tight end from Florida State. 154, Christian Jones, the offensive tackle from Texas. 153, DJ James, the corner from Auburn. 152, Jaquan Jackson, the wide receiver from Tulane. 151, Miles Harden, the cornerback from South Dakota State. Anything stand out to you?
Yeah, I think we're way different on Zinter.
Mm.
That was like my version of what you went through. I have Zinter at 72.
Wow.
I think he's awesome.
Damn, I thought he was just fine.
Like, he's a starting guard at the NFL level for me. In the class where outside of the top 60, I didn't think there was I really like Zinter a lot.
I don't, maybe I'm nuts for this. I like Trevor Keegan more than him.
I like Trevor Keegan too.
Yeah. So like I watched Trevor Keegan and Zach Zinter and I was like, I kind of like Keegan more.
Keegan, though, it's like there's so much of the aesthetic that I like.
From like, Zinter or Keegan?
Keegan dresses like it's 1995 and plays like it's 1995.
Good.
Like the pad, the oversized pads, the way he's such a downhill blocker. They both are. I really like the Michigan guys a lot.
No, I do too. And I guess I don't know. Maybe this ranking is a little harsh from him, but this was kind of my entire theme for the Michigan offensive line. They are really good as a group.
That's a good point.
Keegan is the one who I would have taken individually, basically out of anybody. And the rest of them, I think, are just okay. Like, I think there'll be NFL players. I think there'll be backup guys for a long, long time. But even Zinter, like I watched Zinter and I just was not super impressed. Yeah. Powerful dude. Like, if you get him in an offense that primarily like man or gap scheme blocking, if it's north to south stuff, if it's duo, like, okay, like you can get something out of him. But again, I didn't think that he was super athletic. I felt as though if you have Zach Zinter as your guard, maybe you're okay with it, but you're probably looking to upgrade it. So where's the value for that for me? It's probably a day 3 pick type of a dude. So that's kind of how I came with him at 163. Anybody else? I had a couple that I wish I was higher on, but
I'm trying to think. Where did you have Leonard Taylor, or you didn't go through him yet?
No, I didn't go through him yet.
Okay.
He's very quickly after this. Oh, you know what we should talk about? You had Malik Mustafa in what, the 150s?
Right. I had Mustafa 161.
I know. I think I've read people who have Mustafa like top 100, top 75.
Where do you have him?
So I didn't name him yet, but he is 148 for me.
So we see him, I mean, at this point, like we see him exactly the same. It's like a 15 spot radius.
Yes.
I think it's two things, Trevor, and I want your thoughts. One, I definitely find this time of year when a position group is lacking to keep up with the other position groups, people do look for a guy. And it's not that Mustafa's a bad player, don't get me wrong. Two, he is a really good straight line athlete, but so many guys now throughout this don't do agilities. And then when you go watch the tape, you're like, I could see why they didn't do the agilities.
I am with you 100%.
It's like become one of the biggest things in my process the last 2 years where I'm like, holy shit, nobody does the agilities. Let me go watch the tape and look for, and I'm like, might be kind of a reason why.
Yep.
Matters a lot.
That's how I like people. I think watch the big hits. He's a big time enforcer. If you put him in a robber role or have that box safety role for him at the second level, like
he'll be fine.
He can come up and make tackles from depth. I mean, he can really put some power on you. So I definitely see what he does well. I just don't know how valuable that is because you're not going to want him to turn and run. Like even in too high safety systems, like I just think that he's stiff. He's just not as flexible when it comes to flipping the hips and really running in range. Exactly. And also he's a hard hitting tackler. He also misses a decent amount of tackles.
Yes, he does.
So it's like, yeah, he'll give you the boom, but he's not as consistent as you. Like I think a lot of people would watch Malik Mustafa and they go, okay, tackling plus in his scouting report. And it's like big hits. Sure, but tackling kind of still hit and miss with him. And if that's your bread and butter, like if that's who you're bringing to the table, and I wanted him to be a little bit more consistent in that area. So it was interesting to just hear you say Mustafa there because I know a lot of people are higher on him than the two of us will be. So
yep.
Some guys that I wish I had higher, genuinely. KT Leviston, the offensive tackle from Kansas State. We talked about him on the Gem show or the Day 3 show. He is somebody who I look at 181 and I'm just like, man, he's better than this. And it just kind of, that's one of those things that after I submitted the big board, you kind of go through it again and you either have conversations or when I submit my big board, that's when I give myself the full freedom to say like, okay, let me go see what other people like have actually thought. And
yeah.
Mine's already solidified. And I want everybody else to know this. Like, I don't do that because I wish I was more like groupthink about it. But there's no doubt when you see somebody that you really respect and you get to read a scouting report for them, it might help you see something a little bit differently. Or in KT Levison's specific example, it wasn't that doing that pointed anything out new to him. I guess I didn't value it as high. Like I looked at this player and I was like, yeah, really solid football player. I bet he could play guard. I bet he could play tackle. And hearing myself say those things out loud of exactly what my scouting report reads of him probably should have been higher than 181. So that's one guy who I do like more than his number says right there. Bo Limmer, probably the same. I think Bo Limmer could have probably been a little bit higher on my rankings. Not like by leaps and bounds, but I feel like he could have been a little bit higher. Those are the two that really stood out to me. I don't know if there's anybody else that would have been like a leap. I wish I could have put Josh Newton a lot higher because I still really like Josh Newton, but I just was really, I don't know, maybe I was just really disappointed with what this past year was relative to what I saw from him in 2022. And I think Kalen King's the same way, right? I mentioned Kalen King. He's in the 170s for me. It just scares me, like how big the drop-off was between these guys because playing corner is so much, it's so cyclical that you need to be able to bounce back. And I just felt like those guys did not have great years and really were not able to bounce back as the year went on. And that worries me about him. Oh, Javon Foster, last guy, is the guy from the offensive tackle from Missouri. I wish that I probably could have got him a little bit higher on this list because I think he's a solid football player, even if he's not a great athlete.
It's funny. He's coming up real shortly for me. And I went through the opposite with Foster. I'm like, man, I always end up high on Foster. And I don't know if I should be, but I just like the guy every time I watch him. And he was on summer scouting in 2022. It's like this has been a long road for Javon Foster, but I just think he could play like the way you said. Maybe
he is. He's a good football player. He's a good football player.
All right, should I rock and roll?
You should.
150, Marist Liufau, linebacker from Notre Dame.
Nice.
I really like him. He always wants to be around the football. He's good. I'll start right there at 150. Like I wish I had him higher.
I got him 138, and okay. I have him 138 and kind of wish I had him higher, but it's more of just if you don't bring coverage aspects to the game, it's hard for me to bring you up as a linebacker, even for as physical as I think he plays the game.
So. 149, Cedric Gray, linebacker from UNC.
I have Cedric Gray 150. That's
amazing.
Let's go.
148, Caden Wallace, the right tackle from Penn State.
We got to make a game out of this next year.
But like a bingo kind of game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. 147, Eric All, tight end out of Iowa. 146, a guy you just had on yours, Isaac Garendo, running back from Louisville. 145, Matt Gonzalez, I'll say offensive line from Pitt. I kept him at tackle in my evaluation. I'm sure some people will maybe bring up guard.
I'm keeping him at tackle,
Me too. I
don't know if he's got the size in his lower half.
I thought the same thing. I'm like, I don't really want him taking on bull rush from three techs and shade nose guys.
I'd rather just have him try to be a real technician at tackle and try to make it that way.
144, Javon Foster, tackle from Missouri.
There he is.
143, someone that really surprised me, Tommy Eichenberg, the linebacker out of Ohio State. Yeah,
okay.
We'll get there. 142, another guy, really good process, Jarvis Brownlee Jr., the corner from Louisville. 141, Jared Wiley, tight end from TCU. 140, Renardo Green, corner out of Florida State. People are very high on Renardo Green, I've noticed.
Myself included.
139, Tanner McLaughlin. He's a tight end now from Arizona. He did play wide receiver. 138, Nathan Thomas. This is a guy I'm converting to guard from tackle. Okay. He played left tackle for Louisiana Lafayette. He'll be a really good guard in my opinion with that transition. 137, Tyler Davis, defensive tackle from Clemson.
Okay.
136, James Williams. He will convert from safety to linebacker out of Miami. 135, Kalen Carson, corner out of Wake Forest. 134, Trevor Keegan, the guard from Michigan. 133, Javon Solomon, pass rusher from Troy. 132, Tanner Bordolini, interior offensive lineman from Wisconsin. 131, Brendan Rice, the wide receiver out of USC. 130, Isaiah Adams. I think he'll be a guard at the next level out of Illinois. 129, Brennan Jackson, pass rusher from Washington State. 128, KT Leviston, left tackle that'll convert to guard from Kansas State. 127, Gabe Murphy, pass rusher from UCLA. 126, Brandon Coleman, offensive lineman out of TCU. 125, Satua Lamea from Utah, interior offensive lineman. He's played tackle too, but he should play the interior. 124, Kyrie Jackson, gigantic corner out of Oregon. 123, Mason Smith, D tackle from LSU, was very popular first round pick in summer mock drafts. 122, Will Shipley, the running back out of Clemson. 121, another corner from Florida State, Jarian Jones. He'll play the slot. 120, I just love this guy, Trevor, Miles Harden, the corner out of South Dakota. I love Miles Harden.
I had him 150, but I mean, I
can't get enough, dude.
I'm with
He's
you right
awesome. There. 119, Bo Limmer, interior offensive lineman out of Arkansas. 118, Tyke Smith. I look at him as a slot out of Georgia.
What did you have him?
Tyke Smith?
No, what number?
118.
So do I.
Nice.
Right on the nose, baby.
You love when a plan comes together. That's a beautiful thing.
That's amazing.
117, Jalix Hunt, pass rusher out of Houston Christian. Probably the most exciting developmental pass rusher in the draft.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah, like I just like, if I have a good D-line coach, I'm like, get Jalix Hunt on here. We're going to teach him how to play. This dude's an alien. 116, Elijah Jones, corner out of Boston College. 115, I have drastically changed my opinion of this guy since our running back show, Audric Estime from Notre Dame.
Where did you have him before?
He wasn't in my top 10. I said he was 11th on that show. He's absolutely in my top 10 running backs.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, like I have him 123 overall, and I didn't know if you like had him.
Well, I should have had him in my top 10 on that show, and I regret not. He ended up being my running back 9.
He's good.
He's just good.
He's good. We'll
get there.
I think people are kind of trying to make him something he's not.
But it always swings, swings too far the other way.
Yeah. If at first it's like, Audric Estime is underrated. It's like, now, I got Audric Estime, RB1. I'd have him above Bijan Robinson last year. What are you guys doing?
I'd trade up to 28 for him.
Right. The Patriots have no choice but to take him at 3.
They can't trade the pick.
No, they can't. No.
The Patriots passed up 3 1s from Denver to
Marvin Harris
Estime.
Marvin Harris Jr. sitting in the green room, just every camera in the place is staring at him.
His dad's on the phone. He's on the phone. How did this happen? Oh, man. That's good. That's the good stuff. 114, Mekhi Wingo.
Estimates like a top golf or something. He didn't even think he's getting drafted.
And they're like, hey, it's Elliott Wolf from the New England Patriots. How you doing, Audric? He's like, good. You ready to be a New England Patriot? And he's like, I thought day 3 was Saturday.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, he just took you 3rd overall. He just faints.
Good for him. He deserves
Good for Audric Estime.
He really does.
114, Mekhi Wingo, defensive lineman from LSU. 113, Ray Davis, running back from Kentucky.
Nice.
112, Kamal Hadden, cornerback out of Tennessee. I am very high on Hadden.
Yep.
And there's a lot of risk there. He had his season cut short due to shoulder injury. I really like the tape. 111, another guy I'm very high on, Fabian Lovett, the interior defensive lineman from Florida State.
Wow. Yeah.
I really like Lovett. I think he's a little one-dimensional, but I know what he is. 110, Anthony Gould, wide receiver out of Oregon State. Very good return man. 109, Theo Johnson, tight end out of Penn State. 108, DeCamarion Richardson, corner out of Mississippi State.
Oh, okay, nice.
107, Hunter Norzad, the center from Penn State. 106, Dadrion Taylor Demerson, ball hawking safety out of Texas Tech. 105, Christian Mahogany, guard out of Boston College. 104, Dwayne Carter, interior defensive lineman out of Duke. 103, Jordan McGee, linebacker out of Temple. 102, Cam Hart, corner out of Notre Dame. And 101, Cole Bishop, safety out of Utah.
Okay. All right. Anybody on that list that you didn't highlight? I think we're the most different on Tanner McLaughlin and Fabian Lovett.
I would have guessed that. I feel like I've been pretty high on both of those guys.
Let me see. Tanner is 232 for me.
Wow.
He's
your new Cooper Beebe.
And Levette is like in the 200s as well. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I did not see it with McLaughlin. I know a lot of other people do, and the tight end class is kind of like all over the place. But like when I watched it with him, I really did not see a difference-making player.
I like him. I think he's got really good hands. I like his straight line speed. I mean, you have to know how to use that type of tight end. Like you're not, if you just sit him on the line of scrimmage, like, you're not gonna like him at the NFL level.
He's sort of like he's basically a wide receiver to me, which I think he played wide receiver, right? Like he was a wide receiver before a tight end. I think he's just a wide receiver, and then at that case, he's kind of like a oversized wide receiver.
Who what is the value?
Right. Yeah. So that's why I'm just a lot lower on him. But if you're intrigued by the size, I think you play a little bit of both, like still play a tight end, then I suppose I get it. I think that was it. Anybody else that you would want to shout out? I know you kind of went through it at the time.
Oh man. Yeah, I mean, I'm really excited about the top 100. I see a big. I really like Cam Hart and Jordan McGee. I had them back to back. Like Cam's just a massive corner.
Oh wait, I missed that. You got Jordan McGee right outside the top 100, huh?
103. Yeah, McGee's great in a linebacker class that I, full transparency, don't like at all. Like when you read my big board, they're all just mashed from like 200 to like 250 because I just like they're probably special teamers.
Right.
McGee stood out to me as much more, and I think he's really, really smart.
Good player.
Like really, really smart guy.
Yeah, we talked about him in depth on the last episode. If you guys want to go back and listen to that. All right, you want to hear mine?
Yes, I do.
Okay. 150, Cedric Gray, linebacker out of North Carolina. 149, guy that I thought I'd be a lot higher on afterwards, but Gabriel Murphy, the edge rusher from UCLA.
Yeah, I get it.
148, Malik Mustafa, the safety from Wake Forest. 147, Cornelius Johnson, the wide receiver from Michigan. 146, Luke McCaffrey, the wide receiver from Rice. 145, Will Shipley, the halfback from Clemson. 144, Isaiah Williams, the wide receiver from Illinois.
Whoa.
Dude, good football player. He's outside your top 200, right?
He is. Let me find him real quick so we can cross-compare.
Also, Shrine Bowl standout.
223.
You watch his tape, man. This dude can separate, brother.
I just don't know if he'll consistently get away from NFL corners. He's small, really small, and he's not that fast.
The long speed is definitely not there, but
I like the first 10 yards.
Yes.
I do agree with that.
Where I'm at with him. I'm a sucker for guys that can separate really well, and I think he separates really well. Shaw Smith-Wade, the cornerback from Washington State, 143. 142, Caden Wallace, the offensive tackle from Penn State. 141, Leonard Taylor III, the defensive tackle from Miami. Where did you have Leonard Taylor?
I think I had him 184.
Where did you have Mason Smith?
Really close to where we are right now.
I'm at 140.
123.
Okay, I'm 140 for Mason Smith.
If you draft Mason Smith, you better be ready to coach from square one.
Basically.
Square one.
Yeah.
But man, there's something really good deep inside of there still.
Yeah.
But I'm not taking him until day 3.
He's going to get drafted higher than 140.
He's probably going I could see him going in the second round. I really can.
Not in this class, man. In other classes, no, I'm not pushing back on what you said. I get it.
It seems nuts.
I'm saying that out loud like it's criticism. In this class, there's too many good football players in this class.
I know. We didn't get to the top 100. It's like a switch goes on.
It's going to be fun.
Right.
Yeah. 140, Mason Smith, defensive tackle from LSU. 139, this one's going to be a pierce to the heart. I'm sorry. Mo Kamara, the edge rusher from Colorado State.
How dare you?
130, we'll just move on from that one as quickly as possible. 138, Maris Leafo, linebacker from Notre Dame. 137, Isaiah Adams, the offensive tackle from Illinois. 136, Dwayne Carter, the defensive tackle from Duke. 135, Theo Johnson, the tight end for Penn State. 134, Jarvis Brownlee Jr., the corner from Louisville. 133, your boy, Jordan McGee, the linebacker from Temple. 132, Cole Bishop, safety from Utah. 131, Mekhi Wingo, the defensive tackle from LSU. 130, I can't remember if you named this guy yet. Chris Abrams-Drain.
I love Chris Abrams-Drain.
Okay, so he's higher for you.
Yes, much
higher. I was hoping he was in the 100 section instead of the beyond 200.
No, yeah,
I've been like, you're nuts.
Fan.
Okay.
Huge fan.
129, Taj Washington from USC, the wide receiver. 128, Tanner Bortolini, the safety.
He probably could do it.
He can do it.
He's
Center
got
from Wisconsin. Oh, this is a player that you sort of had a reaction to that I'll let you talk about right here. 127, I got Tommy Eichenberg, the linebacker from Ohio State.
Nice.
Where did you have him? Didn't you say you liked him a lot?
I liked him. Like I was shocked. I had him 143.
Oh, okay. Are you shocked that you were that high on him or that low on him?
When we watched him over summer, I thought he was really smart, and I thought he was a good tackler.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, he's not explosive. He doesn't have any length. He doesn't have a lot of range. And then you just watch him play, and it matters. Like, that stuff matters in football, but he's going to survive at the NFL level. Like, he's smart enough that he's always one step ahead. I wrote this exact line. He plugs gaps against the run like a beach umbrella through sand. Like, it's just every time he reads his keys and plugs a gap. And he has experience on punt and kick coverage teams.
No, he'll be in the league for a long time.
I was pleasantly surprised.
126, Trevor Keegan, the guard from Michigan. 125, Brendan Rice, the wide receiver from USC. 124, Sion Vaki, the safety from Utah. 123, Audric Estime, the halfback from Notre Dame. 122, I don't think you've said his name yet, T'Vondre Sweat, the defensive tackle from Texas.
Oh, man. You dropped him from a helicopter.
You know what?
I get it.
You know what? The more I watched, the more I felt like the question marks with him and his conditioning and how effective he's actually going to be, it just became bigger question marks than answers. Like, I think everybody, John Layard and Ollie Conley were talking about this a little bit on their Audibles and Analytics podcast, which is a phenomenal podcast. You guys should go listen to it. They were talking a little bit about T'Vondre Sweat, and I agree with them. It's like, we look at Sweat and we see the size and we see the quickness off the line of scrimmage, and we just go, oh, this guy's like a centerpiece for defenses. Like, he will literally make the entire defense a lot better.
Yeah.
There's only one Vita Vea. I just want everybody else out there to know that. Vita Vea is extremely rare. And the way that people talk about T'Vondre Sweat, they talk about him as if he is Vita Vea. And he's not. He's not as quick. He's not as conditioned. I mean, Vita is a true, rare, giant athlete. And even Vita Vea, now that he's sort of retooled his body at the NFL level, I mean, he's, 340, 350. T'Vondre Sweat's like 380, man. And that's without some of the off the field stuff that now we're learning with
matters,
T'Vondre,
dude.
Which absolutely matters. So now I have somebody with some off the field concerns and somebody who is basically just going to be a quick, almost like a one gapping 370 pounder. And I don't know how much I'm going to be able to get him on the field. And even when he's on the field, the NFL game is too smart and too fast at the offensive level, specifically to where you can just run away from him. You don't have to run right at him.
I know.
It's not 2003. It's not like the ball runs through him in the middle. You just run outside zone. You just pitch the ball. You completely neutralize when he's on the field. So I don't know. Maybe I'm oversimplifying it, but anyways, 122. When you kind of wrap all that up, early day 3 pick for me. 121, Braylon Allen, the halfback from Wisconsin. 120, Matt Gonzalez, the offensive tackle from Pittsburgh. 119, Anaya Smith, the wide receiver from Texas A&M. 118, as you guys know already, Tyke Smith, the corner/safety from Georgia. 117, Jacob Cowling, the wide receiver from Arizona. 116, Isaiah Davis, the halfback from South Dakota State. 115, Brendan Jackson, the edge rusher from Washington State. 114, this is a guy that I've just become a major fan of over the last, I would say, month. Blake Watson, the halfback. I'm going to call him offensive weapon from Memphis because I think he can do it all as a former wide receiver. 113, Jarian Jones, the cornerback from Florida State. 112, Jamari Thrash, the wide receiver from Louisville. 111, Hunter Norzad, the center from Penn State. 110, Kalen Carson, the cornerback from Wake. 109, Cam Kinchins, the safety from Miami. 108, Jared Wiley, the tight end from TCU. 107, Michael Hall Jr., the defensive tackle from Ohio State. 106, Christian Mahogany, the guard from Boston College. 105, Ben Sennett, the tight end from Kansas State. 104, Dominic Pooney, the tackle from Kansas. 103, Cade Stover, PFF's number one fan, the tight end from Ohio State. 102, your boy Tyrone Tracy, the halfback from Purdue, also just offensive weapon. And then 101, Patrick Paul, the offensive tackle from Houston. Anything stand out for you?
No, I think you like Wiley more than I expected.
I do like Wiley, man.
Yeah, he's easy to like.
Where did you have him? Did you name him?
Yeah, Wiley for me was in that range we just went through, 141.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Good length, has the chance to fill out as a true Y. Was dealing with some injury stuff that he's through now, which he'll get stronger because of it.
Over 6'6". He's 250 pounds. Played quarterback in high school, played quarterback and tight end in high school. I think he's really smart. I think he's a really good athlete. He's a functional athlete.
He can run the seam.
I wish he was a little bit more on fire for blocking, but he
doesn't do much after the catch.
But he can. I think he can, man.
I mean, I think he could.
You know? I think he's that good of an athlete.
Well, that athleticism, I was like, oh, this guy should be a monster.
I know, because his first step, explosiveness, is great.
Yeah.
So when he like turns with the football, becomes a ball carrier, man. I do like Wiley. I obviously, as a fringe top 100 guy, I'm a big fan of his. Some players who I had some tough debates with. All jokes aside, like Mo Kamara is one of them because I think he's a great player. I think he works his tail off. He's going to give you everything he's got every single snap. I just worry about just the overall length. Like, how effective is he going to be at the NFL level? I don't know. Because I even saw at the Shrine Bowl, the offensive tackles that were there were Mo Kamara got his good reps. I'm not saying they didn't exist. Right. He was able to get the better of them, but you could definitely tell when Kamara's pass rush plan did not work immediately. There's not a lot of things that he could do to counter these guys. He just does not have the length to do it. He's got the effort to do it, but the length is just something that was tough for me to overcome. I know a lot of people like Theo Johnson, the tight end from Penn State. I kind of just saw him as a linear athlete, and he's a good one, but I feel like he's just a seam ball type of a tight end. So if you want your tight ends to run shorter, shallower routes or all these like hook curls and like things like that, and I just don't think he's that type of a tight end. If you're running a vertical passing offense, Theo Johnson could really work for you. But I think he's really streamlined in his skill set. I think people look at the athleticism, like the explosiveness, and they umbrella it into saying, what a great athlete. And I think he's a great straight line athlete. But if you ask him to really be fluid with various routes and tempo the routes and things like that, I did not see that stuff from him. So I thought he was limited, although the explosiveness is nice. I thought he was a little limited in that regard. But I think that's about it for me. I'm sure people will have all sorts of questions about the guys who are in our 200 to 100. But there we go.
100 to 76.
Yes. Before we do that, can I talk to the good people about our friends over Fabric? Okay. If you got a family out there, you got to give them term life insurance to protect them. One of the smartest financial decisions that you can make, and draft week is the perfect time to get it done. So you can focus on whatever the 2024 NFL draft has in store for you this weekend. Fabric was designed by parents for parents to get you high quality, surprisingly affordable term life insurance policies in less than 10 minutes. Fabric has flexible policies that will fit your family's budget with quality policies like $1 million in coverage for less than $1 a day. Get your personalized quote in just minutes. Apply whenever it is convenient for you, all online to your schedule. You go from start to covered in less than 10 minutes with no health exam required, people. Join the thousands of parents who trust Fabric to protect their family today. Apply today in just minutes at meetfabric.com/stock-exchange. Meet Fabric, that's MEET fabric.com/stock-exchange. You go to MEAT fabric.com/stock-exchange. It just hyperlinks you to Connor's top 300 big board. Policies are issued by Western Southern Life Assurance Company, not available in certain states. Prices subject to underwriting and health questions. Had to give you the extra plug there, buddy. Had to give you the exclusive Meet Fabric straight to the big board.
It's about time I got it. We've been waiting.
Okay, let's do 100 to 76.
This is gonna be a wild ride. This is where it just gets so crazy. 100 Malik Washington, wide receiver out of Virginia.
Okay.
99 Jermaine Burton, wide receiver out of Alabama.
Oh.
Yeah, we'll have the combo.
I wish I could have brought in that low, but I can't do it. Andrew
Phillips, cornerback out of Kentucky at 98.
Okay.
Michael Pratt, quarterback out of Tulane, 97.
Oh, wait. We got another bingo, folks. On
97.
the dot. 97.
You love to see that, especially for a quarterback. That's like a late day 2 quarterback. Man. Wow. 96, Cam Kinchin's the guy you just had, safety out of Miami. 95, Kieran Amagaji, the tackle out of Yale.
All right.
94, Ben Sinnott, tight end out of Kansas State.
Okay.
93, Jamari Thrash, wide receiver out of Louisville. 92, Cade Stover, tight end out of Ohio State. 91, Roger Rosengarten, the tackle out of Washington. 90, Marshawn Lloyd, running back out of USC. 89, DJ James, corner out of Auburn. 88, Jaden Hicks, safety out of Washington State. 87, Chris Abrams-Drain, inside-outside corner from Missouri. 86, Cedric Van Pran, center from Georgia. 85, Spencer Rattler, quarterback out of South Carolina. 84, Austin Booker, the edge rusher from Kansas. 83, Blake Corum, running back out of Michigan. 82, Braylon Allen, running back out of Wisconsin. 81, Jeremiah Trotter Jr., linebacker out of Clemson. 80, the big man, Tavondre Sweat, D-tackle out of Texas. 79, Marshawn Nealon, edge rusher from Western Michigan. 78, Javon Baker, wide receiver from UCF.
Wait, what number?
78?
That's 3, baby.
Oh my God, we're cooking.
That's 3, baby.
We're cooking. And we might get to 5 with the upcoming ones.
No idea we'd have this many outside of the top 50. What a joyous episode this is.
It's crazy. 77, Javon Bullard, safety out of Georgia.
Okay.
76, Blake Fisher, the right tackle out of Notre Dame.
All right. Okay.
Anything weird there for you?
No, not really. The only one that I'm way different than you on is DJ James. Like, I had DJ James at 153.
Okay.
And you had him obviously a lot higher. I think he's a great playmaker. I just think he's so small.
This is the problem.
He's just so small.
This is kind of the problem for... I want to see what he weighed in at the combine. Yeah, 175. Yeah, he's small.
Second percentile in weight.
Yeah, no, he's got to gain weight. And there's a lot of guys like this. He's the one I put in the top 100 because I like the tape the best.
I do too. Out of him, Pritchett, and Jalen Simpson, I like DJ James the best. Isn't
it weird how all 3 of them, it's like they're all skinny.
I know. So I was recently on Arif Hassan's podcast, and Arif does the consensus board for a lot of the media people. And he went through a fun exercise where I gave him my big board beforehand. And for the second half of the podcast, he just went through and he's like, okay, you are the lowest amongst your peers on like this player. And he's like, tell me who it is. And we kind of like guessed through it. I don't know if I was the lowest or if I was second lowest on Jalen Simpson. I have Jalen Simpson outside of my top 200. And it's just because he wasn't athletic to hang at outside corner. And he's so skinny, I cannot think that he's going to be a difference maker at safety at the NFL level. He can't tackle
He cannot tackle.
Right. And so what am I supposed to do with that player?
He's got to be a third safety in a coverage-only role. Like, if you're... Yeah, that's... I mean, I have him 163, so I'd imagine I'm not too high on him compared to consensus.
Right.
Like, what was the consensus? Do you remember? Is he like going in like the top, like everyone's top 150?
I think it was around 150, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
So it was like kind of close. But the only reason I bring that up is because it was like an Auburn thing. It was like that trio of DBs. It's like, okay, I like you all, but you guys are just small. So
they are. I thought, yeah, you're right though. James he just has good coverage skills. Like, he really does.
He is fluid, man. He can really flip the hips and move.
Yeah.
So, I get it.
Yeah, really twitchy. He has a lot of experience in press. He's just he needs to gain some weight, man. He does get out muscled at times. He does.
You are higher on Braylon Allen than I am. You're about 40 spots higher. I think it's just how we see this running back.
What about Trotter?
Where did you have him?
We never talk. I don't feel like we don't talk about him too much. 81st.
I had 96.
Okay.
You were low. You had Nealand where?
79th.
I have him 63.
He's just a one-trick pony.
Yeah, but...
Dude, I've seen him like top 50.
Yeah, but like... The agility scores. he wants to run straight through your soul.
Yeah.
When he's launching off the edge. And I feel like he is a one-trick pony, but I think the motor runs really hot for him. He's super strong. He's got the extra weight. The speed to power is really nice with him. And then the agility scores made me go, God, is there more in the tank?
The RAS graphic was nice.
Is there more finesse game in the tank? And I kind of hope there is. And so I'm a little bit higher on him because of that. So where do you have Braylon Trice?
Coming up real soon.
Okay,
I have Trice. Yeah, real soon. I have him 67th.
So I like Trice because to me, Trice and Nealon are kind of the same guy. They're just trying to run straight through you. It's just sort of a preference of which one you like better. And Trice's production last year and the year before, when it came to total pressures, I mean, he's just running through people and he's making the quarterback move off of their spot.
Right.
I liked Nealon's game more than I actually do Braylon Trice.
Okay.
Trice is 98 for me.
Okay.
So, shoot, I mean, I could just start.
Yeah, go ahead.
We can see which ones that we kind of want to point out there. A lot of them are similar, though. 100, Cedric Van Pran, the center from Georgia. 99, Roger Rosengarten, the offensive tackle for Washington, which, by the way, we could bring this up now. Mel Kiper had him going 32 overall like a month ago. You didn't see this?
No.
Yeah, Kiper had him to the Chiefs at like 32 overall like a month ago.
Okay, that's wild. And Mel is like early on some things.
He is.
I'll be honest with you, and this is maybe because we live in an era where like I'm sure a lot of us don't watch as much TV anymore. Like I don't sit down and turn ESPN on. Like when I sit down and turn TV on, I'm either watching live sports or I'm watching a show on a streaming platform. I see Mel stuff like way less compared to like maybe like seven other draft analysts. I don't know what it is. And I to full transparency too, I don't have ESPN Plus, like where you read the articles and all that stuff.
Right.
So it's weird, but I'm behind on Mel almost the most out of all the big analysts.
Yeah.
So I did not. So long story short, I didn't know that.
I think they do a lot of paywall stuff now, which I get it.
Yeah.
I totally get it.
Yeah, you got to pay the bills.
Right. But yeah, I saw Rosengarten as a...
What do you think of that?
What?
It's a little rich for my blood.
Oh, extremely.
I think
that Rosengarten is a really explosive, smooth... Yeah, I think he's just a really good overall athlete is probably the way that I would say it.
I've said this to you before. There's a rep he has, and I can't remember who he was against now, where he recovers from a spin move that I don't think I've seen an offensive lineman in this class move like that.
Yeah.
Where I was like, how did his body do that? It was wild. But I also don't think he's like a explode off the ball and detonate people guy at all. And you like a 32, you better, I don't know.
Right. So here's, I'll just read strength and weaknesses for him really quick. Lighter in weight, but he can really move at that weight. Don't often get to use the word nimble with an offensive tackle, but that is truly how he moves. He's a high motor player, looks like he plays with a chip on his shoulder, and has a mean streak, even without a lot of natural power, which is not very common that you see things like that. Weaknesses: struggles to generate difference-making power at the point of attack, got into trouble when asked to block bigger defensive ends and defensive tackles, doesn't really sustain blocks consistently. And my bottom line for him is Rosengarten is worth a flyer as an early day 3 developmental athletic offensive tackle, but lacks the power necessary to survive at the NFL in his current state, which means 6'5", which is 30th percentile, 109, which is 35th percentile for offensive tackles. So it's like, I just think he's got to get stronger. That's it. So anyways, Braylon Trice, edge rusher from Washington, 98. 97, Michael Pratt, quarterback out of Tulane. 96, Jeremiah Trotter Jr., the linebacker out of Clemson. 95, Mason McCormick, the earth mover, interior offensive guard from South Dakota State. 94, Dadrian Taylor Demerson, the safety from Texas Tech. 93, this will go on my tombstone, I guess. Cooper Beebe, the interior offensive lineman from Kansas State.
It's better than what I thought.
At least like I got him in the top 100.
Way better than what I thought.
What if we went through this whole thing and at the end of the podcast, you ain't, wait, you son of a bitch, you didn't mention Cooper Beebe. And I'm like, he's 201.
Oh, man. That would have been a really good bit. I'm kind of mad you didn't do it.
Yeah, me too. Now that I said it out loud. 92, Eric All, the tight end from Iowa. Look, I get it. Injury history is bad.
That's it. Right? You just got to stay healthy.
Back surgery in 2022, ACL injury in 2023. It's not pretty. he led Iowa's offense in receiving yards still this past year, even while only playing in like 6 games. And that's because I think that they got him the ball as much as they could. Him and Luke Lachey. I can't remember how you say his last name, but they had Eric All.
Yeah,
they had Eric All and Luke Lachey in the same offense, which would have been sick.
Now they had Laporta and Lachey the year before that. How did they keep getting away with this?
I don't know. Javon Solomon, the edge rusher for Troy at 91.
Oh, hello. I like that.
Dude, we'll get to
so jokes. he's your Mo Camara. Like that's your undersized edge rusher that you're taking your bet on.
Well.
Oh wait, there's
90 more. Malik Washington, the wide receiver from Virginia. 89 Renardo Green, the cornerback from Florida State. 88 Austin Booker, the edge rusher from Kansas. 87 Kyrie Jackson, the corner from Oregon. And this is why I said, 86 Jalix Hunt, the edge rusher from Houston Christian.
But he's not small.
I mean, isn't he?
No, Jalix Hunt's not small.
Dude, he played safety for 4 years.
I know, but he can. There's a reason why they moved him up. Like he's gonna be a really big NFL player one day.
Okay. All right.
You know what I'm saying? Like he's got almost 35-inch arms.
No, look. The arm length is phenomenal, and he's a shade under 6'4". So you're right. Solomon is where's Javon Solomon? Solomon is 6'2", 250. So okay, all right. I see that. But yeah, I am betting on those two dudes. I like them a lot. I really do. 85 Jalen McMillan, the wide receiver from Washington. 84, Marshawn Lloyd, the halfback from USC. 83, Xavier Thomas, the edge rusher from Clemson. 82, Ray Davis, halfback from Kentucky. 81, Kalen Bullock, the safety from USC. 80, Johnny Wilson, the wide receiver from Florida State. 79, here he is, folks, Bucky Irving, halfback from Oregon. 78, Javon Baker, the wide receiver from UCF. 77, Spencer Rattler, quarterback from South Carolina. And then 76, Devontae Walker, the wide receiver from North Carolina.
The one I'm surprised by a mile, like not Bucky Irving, not Jalen McMillan, is Kalen Bullock. I have him 153, and the only reason I had him in the top 200 is because I'm still a believer in his like ball hawking single high safety ability.
I can't quit it, brother.
Outside of that, he can't do anything. Like
but like that's so valuable.
But God, if you're playing a team that's run heavy, you're dead. Like your last line of defense is a pea shooter.
Look, I am who I am, okay? I had Malik Hooker as like a top 15 prospect in his class. And it's just like Kalen Bullock he's such a difference-making coverage player that I am begging this young man to eat a peanut butter sandwich at 2 a.m. I am begging you for 3 months, just bulk. Get huge.
And then he can't play sideline to sideline anymore. He's one of these million guys that has to play linebacker.
I couldn't do it, man. I couldn't. I rewatched the tape of him, and the tackling glares are still there.
They're just as bad.
If you want to say,
it didn't get any better. I was like, it didn't get any. We left this a whole year. It's still the same exact thing.
I went back and I watched it. Can you believe he didn't get any better at tackling since January?
Their defense is worse, Connor. It's worse. Caleb Williams goes out there every day, looks at the scoreboard, and goes, "Yeah, we're gonna need 50 today, boys." Every single week.
I can't quit it. All right.
No, I. You know what's so funny, Trevor? I had to do top 10 safeties for NBC a couple of weeks ago, and I couldn't believe it. Like he's safety 7 for me, and that's a compliment.
17.
I really didn't think he'd be in my top 10 safeties. And it's a little bit of the fault of the class. And it is a little bit of the same as you, where I'm like, but man, those ball hawking plays, I can't let it go.
They're so good. They're so good.
All right. Well, I'm going to rip 75.
Yes. Yep. That's it.
All right. 75. My guy, Tyrone Tracy Jr., the running back out of Purdue.
Proud of you. Happy.
74. Ruka Rororo, the D tackle from Clemson. 73, a guy we're a little different on, Dominic Pooney, the offensive lineman from Kansas. 72, Brandon Dorless, kind of a Swiss Army knife D lineman, like edge, 5-tech out of Oregon. Weird player, but I'm still a believer. 71, we went over this already, Zach Zinner, the guard from Michigan. 70, Mo Camara, the pass rusher from Colorado State.
Just back-to-back, the two dudes that I've got way lower than you.
Double whammy. 69, another guy that I'm just outrageously high on, Michael Hall, the D tackle from Ohio State. Yeah, wow. I really think Hall is something. 68. This guy's fallen for me a lot since the summer. Jatavian Sanders, the tight end out of Texas.
Okay.
Like when you're a pass catcher only kind of tight end and you're not really a great athlete, it's not.
I think he's a great athlete.
You do?
I do. I didn't think he tested well.
I think he's a good athlete on the field. I don't think he is a great athlete at the position.
Man, I really do like his athleticism.
Okay.
Let me see. I mean,
I still have him 68th, which is like for a tight end.
I got him 43. So.
Oh wow. Okay.
So here's the thing. When
you hate McLaughlin, and I think the usage is exactly the same.
Oh, don't you do
Sanders is better, obviously. I have him like 50 spots higher, or no, more than that.
I think Sanders is a way more explosive athlete than McLaughlin is.
I get it, but I'm saying
his
the
athleticism
usage
shows up in the game way more than McLaughlin's does.
All right. Listen, I feel like I'm arguing against something I don't even believe in here, but
I'm trying to look at his where's his athleticism.
McLaughlin's a good athlete, by the way. Really good athlete.
So Sanders was, what is this? 91st percentile and 90th percentile for athletes for the tight end position over the last 2 years, according to our athletic in-game athletic metrics.
In-game, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. 67, Braylon Trice, pass rusher from Washington. Now we get a couple running backs coming up here finally. With 66, Jonathan Brooks, running back out of Texas.
Okay.
65, Devontae Walker, wide receiver out of UNC. 64, Adiza Isaac, edge rusher from Penn State. Did you read the story on Adiza Isaac on The Athletic?
Which one?
It was about his family.
I think so. Yeah. A long time ago, though.
I want to make sure. This was like not that long ago. It was only like 2 weeks ago. I feel bad that I don't have the writer up right now who it was. It was really, really good. Adiza's from Brooklyn.
Is it his family with oh man, I can't. I don't want to. I'm not going to butcher it. Are you looking it up?
Yeah. I want to make sure I do it justice, and I do recommend everybody to go read it. Adiza is just, as I have to say, and I can't find it right away, one of the easiest people to root for in this draft. Dan Pompey did an excellent job. Adiza has two brothers and a sister, and I believe all three of them are nonverbal.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And he is just a really inspirational family person. Go read the story on The Athletic. I got to talk to Adiza at the Combine. He is such a nice person and a good football player. And that's why I'm talking about this right now, because I have him in my top 75. I think he's a top 3 person to root for in this draft. So go read that when you get a chance. 63, Darius Robinson, another weird player, like that edge D tackle from Missouri kind of player. 62, Peyton Wilson, linebacker from NC State.
Oh, I hate her.
60, absolutely. No, 61, Kamari Lassiter, corner from Georgia. 60, Kingsley Suamatia, tackle from BYU. 59, Malachi Corley, wide receiver from Western Kentucky. 58, Jalen Wright, running back from Tennessee.
Ooh.
I love Jalen Wright.
Wow.
57, Xavier Legette, wide receiver of South Carolina. 56, Patrick Paul, tackle from Houston. I know we're a little different on him.
Yeah.
55, Trey Benson, my top back in the class out of Florida State. 54, Max Melton, corner out of Rutgers.
Oh, man. Love
53, Cooper Beebe, your arch nemesis, guard from Kansas State. 52, Ennis Rakestraw Jr., corner out of Missouri. And 51, Christian Haynes, guard from Connecticut.
Okay. All right. I'm going to list off my 75, and then we'll have some conversations about some of these guys. So 75 for me is Trey Benson, halfback from Florida State. 74 is Jermaine Burton, the wide receiver from Alabama. Okay. Let's just talk about Jermaine Burton here.
Oh, yeah, we have to.
Burton is like a tape alone. Burton's top 10, top 8 receiver in this class, even for as studded as this wide receiver group is. But it just feels as though there's some off the field stuff for him or character stuff for him that, I mean, I don't know when this guy's going to get drafted. I'm just letting you guys know. Jermaine Burton is going to be that player who you're going to sit here and just say his name a million times of how he is still on the board and how receivers are going to get picked over him. Shoot, maybe that isn't the case, but it sure feels like we're heading that direction where it could even this could even be a DeJuan Jones situation from last year, right? Where DeJuan's still on the board and people are going, how is this extremely talented offensive tackle still on the board in the 4th round? Like, what is going on here? And that might be the Jermaine Burton thing, because off film alone, I had him as a top 50 player for months, but I just, from even what we're here, and we don't even hear everything on this side of stuff, but from what we have heard, it's like Jermaine Wildcard's draft projection is a complete mystery to me of where he's going to go. No idea.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot going on. I mean, I think everybody's privy to the whole rush the field incident, like the Tennessee incident, because that's on video. I mean, that video is on Twitter, but it feels like that's awful from what I've seen. But yeah, there's just, you nailed it. There's, what more needs to be said? He is a top 10 receiver on talent. I am very aware of that. I didn't rank him that way because, like,
it just doesn't feel like he's going that high. It just
and I don't, like, full transparency too. I'm not trying to forecast when I do rankings. No, you aren't either, Trevor. Like, we rank them where we would rank them. We don't care where they're going to go. Like, how do you trust the guy to play for a long time in the league with that kind of problems? And hopefully he figures it out, because some guys do.
Yeah.
And a lot of guys don't.
He is extremely talented. I hope Jermaine Burton gets drafted high. We never hear a peep from him, because dude's unreal, unbelievably talented. But anyways, he's a 74 for me. Blake Fisher, the offensive tackle from Notre Dame, 73. 72, Max Melton, cornerback from Rutgers. 71, Junior Colson, linebacker from Michigan. Where did you have Colson? Oh, not yet. Okay. No. All right. 70, Brandon Coleman, the offensive tackle from TCU. I like him, man.
Coleman's really good.
I like Coleman.
Coleman on his best day is as good as the best in this class.
Yeah, that's why
Coleman on his worst
75.
day drives you nuts.
Yeah, but he what was the background? Hold on, let me make sure that I got this right. Because he, I think, grew up in Germany because his dad was in the military and his family was stationed over there. Spent most of his childhood in Berlin, Germany, as his dad was stationed there during his military service. He moved back to the United States when he was 15 and originally wanted to play basketball in college. Started playing football his junior year of high school, and ended up going to JUCO first, then transferred over to TCU. He's played left tackle and he's played left guard. I mean, he is a really good athlete for a player of his size. He's got great body control, really nice explosiveness. I mean, he is still working on, truly generating that lower body explosiveness, that lower body power, using leverage to really displace people, getting the hands exactly where they need to maintain blocks. But this is another one of those guys where it's like, okay, give me this type of athlete at offensive tackle. So he's somebody that I like. Obviously, I have him at number 70. 69, Xavier Worthy, wide receiver from Texas. 68, Jalen Wright, halfback from Tennessee. 67, Rook Orororo, the defensive tackle from Clemson. 66, Kingsley Suamatia, from the offensive tackle from BYU. 65, Brandon Dorlus, defensive tackle from Oregon. 64, Andrew Phillips from Kentucky, the cornerback. 63, Marshawn Nealon, the edge rusher from Western Michigan. 62, Malachi Corley, the wide receiver from Western Kentucky. 61, Darius Robinson, the edge rusher from Missouri. So we see him pretty similarly, I guess. 60, Christian Haynes, the guard from UConn. 59, Edgerrin Cooper, the linebacker from Texas A&M. 59, Chris Braswell, the edge rusher from Alabama. 57, Kieran Amagaji, the offensive tackle / I'll just say overall offensive lineman, because I think he might be a guard from Yale. 56, Kamari Lassiter, the cornerback from Georgia. 55, Jonah Ellis, the edge rusher from Utah. 54, Jaden Hicks, the safety from Washington State. 53, Xavier Legette, the wide receiver from South Carolina. 52, Blake Corum, the halfback from Michigan. 51, TJ Tampa, the cornerback from Iowa State.
So you really like Amagaji?
I do.
Those are always the toughest guys to evaluate.
I know. And I when I watched him, I felt like he dominated his level of competition, which I absolutely wanted to see.
Yeah.
And I just felt as though if you can get the feet a little bit quicker and you can improve the pad level, damn, I think this dude's good. Like, I truly think he could be a starter for you at tackle or at guard. Like, I think the kick slides are long, they're controlled, they're balanced. I feel as though he is further along in the nuance of offensive tackle than most guys who are playing like at the Ivy League. I'm just going to be honest.
Yeah.
The hands are super fast. There's a lot of things that I like about him that we're not a finished product, somebody who I could absolutely see starting at guard or tackle at the NFL level. I think that he is. Yeah, I think he's nice, man. I really do.
Oh, there was one more I wanted to ask about, and now it's slipping my mind. I forget, but Amagaji's. Oh, we should talk about Sua Mattia, shouldn't we?
Sure.
Because I think, and I don't know, because once again, you brought up like I'm submitting my board to NBC right after we tape this, and then I'm really curious to dive into a lot of boards. But the way the stuff I see when I say I'm seeing this guy that like is all Twitter combo, I feel like people really like Sua Mattia, and I get it. I also think Sua Mattia almost can't even play this year. Like he's far away right now, but he is a really intriguing ball of clay because of his size and athleticism.
I think now I'm obviously higher on Tyler Guyton because I haven't said his name yet, but I feel like consensus, I'm a little bit lower on both Tyler Guyton and Kingsley Sua Mattia because these are two players who there's a long way to go for technique for them to really be solid offensive tackle options at the NFL level. Both of these guys, I think, are on the same plane where they're really good athletes, but right now they're not really consistently blocking players. You watch Tyler Guyton's tape. I know this is prevalent with Guyton, and I saw it in Sua Mattia as well. They're kind of just like shoving you. Right? They're shoving these defensive linemen. They're not really like, okay, let me get my hand inside. Let me use my grip strength. Let me make sure that you can't get off of this block. Let me maintain this block and truly win this rep. They're basically like, let me mirror you, stay in front of you, and then I'm just going to shove you really hard in one direction, and hopefully you go flying and then you don't come back for more.
Good way of putting it.
Or you won't really know what to do. You won't really have a good rhythm and counter to be able to get past me. So that's how I saw both of these guys, and I think that they are both worth investing in within the top 75, within the first two rounds, honestly, because of how well they move for their size. But if you are playing one of these guys at offensive tackle next year, I think you're going to have to go through your lessons. Like you're going to have your struggles on that side of the ball.
It's the hand placement completely.
You're going to need tight ends over there to help them out. You're going to need halfbacks over there to help them out, because if they lose their rep in hand placement or technique or whatever it is, you need some sort of security blanket, because some of the reps that they lose, they might lose really quickly at the NFL level. So it's kind of how I see them.
All right, 50 for me. Roman Wilson, the wide receiver from Michigan. 49, Braden Fisk, defensive lineman from Florida State. 48, Chris Braswell, edge pass rusher from Alabama. 47, Edgerrin Cooper, linebacker out of Texas A&M. 46, Jonah Ellis, edge out of Utah. 45, Chris Jenkins, defensive lineman from Michigan. 44, Bo Nix, quarterback from Oregon. 43, Xavier Worthy, wide receiver from Texas. 42, TJ Tampa, corner out of Iowa State. 41, Keon Coleman, wide receiver out of Florida State. 40. What?
The fourth one.
Nice.
Is Keon Coleman.
That's
of all players.
That is perfection. I could have guessed that one, the way we talked about him.
I mean, I guess we saw him somewhat similarly, but I had no idea if you were going to put him in the 60s.
We actually both did the 1 foot in, 1 foot out with Keon Coleman. Like, I don't love him like I did in the top 15, but I can't quit. I can't quit him. 40, Adonai Mitchell, wide receiver out of Texas. 39, Mikey Sanders-Still, the corner out of Michigan. 38, Ladd McConkey, wide receiver out of Georgia. 37, Tyler Nubin, safety out of Minnesota. 36, Ricky Pearsall, wide receiver out of Florida. 35, Jordan Morgan, offensive lineman out of Arizona. 34, Junior Colson, linebacker out of Michigan.
Wow, you like him a lot.
That's it's going back to summer. Like
he's your guy. He's your guy.
I was like, I think this guy's really good. Yeah. 33, his teammate JJ McCarthy, quarterback out of Michigan. 32, Zach Frazier, center out of West Virginia. 31, Troy Franklin, wide receiver from Oregon. You're going to notice a little change here, Trevor. I finally just did it.
Wait, what number was Zach Frazier?
Zach Frazier was 32. Close. No cigar.
33 for me.
Damn it. 31, Troy Franklin, wide receiver out of Oregon. 30, Chop Robinson, pass rusher out of Penn State. 29, Tyler Guyton, offensive tackle, Oklahoma. 28, Jalen Polk, Mr. Wide Receiver 5.
I love it, man. Stick to your guns.
Polk, wide receiver 5. 27, Kool-Aid McKinstry, corner out of Alabama. 26, his teammate Terrion Arnold, corner out of Alabama. And then I'll stop there before the 25.
Okay. All right. So for me, 50, Chris Jenkins Jr., the defensive tackle from Michigan. 49, Jonathan Brooks, the halfback from Texas, is my RB1. 48, Jalen Polk, the wide receiver from Washington. I still got him in the top 50.
It's fine. Yeah. Nobody's mad at you.
Javon Bullard. Stop being mad at me. Javon Bullard, 47, safety from Georgia. 46, Ennis Rashard Jr., the corner from Missouri. 45, Ricky Pearsall, the wide receiver from Florida. 44, Braden Fisk, the defensive tackle from Florida State. 43, Jatavian Sanders, the tight end from Texas, who is good. 40,
Tell the people.
42.
Tell the people he's not slow.
I'm not mad.
I'm not
Don't
mad
tell
online.
the people that I'm mad.
Do not put in the newspaper that I got mad.
42, Roman Wilson, the wide receiver from Michigan. 41, the aforementioned Keon Coleman, the wide receiver from Florida State. 40, Chop Robinson, edge rusher from Penn State. 39, Tyler Guyton, the offensive tackle from Oklahoma. 38, Adise Isaac, edge rusher, Penn State. 37, Jordan Morgan, offensive tackle, Arizona. 36, Michael Penix Jr., the quarterback from Washington. 35, like a real coward, Bo Nix, quarterback from Oregon. 34, Mike Sanderstill, the cornerback from Michigan. You know, at one point I thought about putting Mikey Sanderstill in between those guys, and I'm like, I can't have quarterback, nickel corner, quarterback. I just can't do that. It's just
it's hard.
Would not look right. So Zach Frazier,
you proved the point. You start to lose your mind while doing this exercise.
No, 100%.
Like you just stare at it and you're like a painting, and you're like, this doesn't feel right.
These start to just be like words. They're no longer names and identities and players. They're just letters that are organized a certain way. Zach Frazier, center from West Virginia, 33. 32, Ladd McConkey, the wide receiver from Georgia. 31, Tyler Nubin, the safety from Minnesota. 30, Peyton Wilson, the linebacker from NC State. Both those players, LB1 to safety 1 for their position. 29, Troy Franklin, the wide receiver from Oregon. 28, J.J. McCarthy, quarterback from Michigan. 27, Jackson Powers Johnson, the center from Oregon. 26, Kool-Aid McKinstry, the cornerback from Alabama. And that leaves the top 25. Is there anybody? So I got Chop Robinson at 40. Is it like a talking point at all whatsoever?
It's not.
All right. I feel like I'm
like Chop Robinson
lower on him
is wildly raw. And Chop Robinson is one of the most gifted freaks for his size on planet Earth.
He's like sashimi.
We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Right.
Raw on a plate.
Player comparison.
Sashimi.
We're really starting to lose
salmon nigiri, actually.
We're really starting to lose it.
All right. Just, I don't know. Look.
What's the talking point here? We talk about these guys 8,000 times.
I guess so. You know,
no, in all seriousness. Where'd you have Nubin? Sorry.
31.
Oh, cool. I have him 37. Like,
good football player.
Some people I talk to that are projecting Nubin to go at the top of the third round or end of the second. And I'm like, now we're just completely overthinking this.
Yeah. Like end of the second, I get. Like, I can see it.
Right, because he didn't test well.
Right. But
he's instinctual.
Dude, he's a good player. Watch the tape. Turn it on.
I know.
Open your eyes. I think all jokes aside, like I think Nubin is a really good football player. I don't really care how he tests. I've seen it on the field for the last 2 years. He's graded out really well. The production's really well. The tape itself individually is very, very well. So I like Tyler Nubin, man.
Should I close this thing out?
Close it out.
25, Nate Wiggins, corner out of Clemson. 24, J.C. Latham. I'm really torn on if I think J.C. Latham is a guard or a right tackle. His deficiencies in pass pro at tackle can be limited by guard.
They can be.
So that's my argument there. 23, Byron Murphy, defensive lineman out of Texas. 22, Jackson Powers Johnson, center out of Oregon. 21, Jaden Daniels, quarterback out of LSU.
That's 5.
Yes, that's a perfect 5. One.
Jaden at 21. Let's go.
Wow. Okay, we'll have the Jaden combo. 20, Graham Barton, tackle out of Duke. Well, guard, tackle, wherever the hell. Just good player on the line.
Yep.
19, Michael Penix, quarterback out of Washington. 18, Laiatu Latu, edge pass rusher out of UCLA. 17, Amarius Mims, tackle out of Georgia. 16, Quinyon Mitchell, corner out of Toledo. 15, Cooper DeJean, corner out of Iowa. 14, Dallas Turner, pass rusher out of Alabama. 13, Johnny Newton, defensive lineman out of Illinois. 12, Jared Verse, edge pass rusher out of Florida State. Big run of defenders there. And now it's all offense from here on out. Brian Thomas Jr. at 11, wide receiver out of LSU. Taliza Fuanga, tackle out of Oregon State at 10. Roma Dunze, wide receiver out of Washington at 9. Troy Fatanu, offensive lineman out of Washington at 8. At 7, I'm still a believer, Olu Fashanu, the tackle out of Penn State. 6, I will proudly stand up and say he could be really good. Drake May, quarterback out of UNC. 5, Brock Bowers.
Why would you say something so controversial yet so brave?
Yes, I've set the world on fire. There's your open, Ryan. 5, Brock Bowers, tight end out of Georgia. 4, Malik Neighbors, wide receiver out of LSU. Joe Alt at 3, the tackle out of Notre Dame. 2, Caleb Williams, the quarterback out of USC. And number 1 in the draft, he never moved from this spot for me since our first big board from last summer, Marvin Harrison Jr., who will be drafted after Audric Estime.
Of course. Yes, of course. We also got Malik Neighbors the same, but honestly, like, the higher you get in the order, it's not as fun. Right, that becomes. You are higher on Talize Fuanga than I am, and that just makes me really happy.
Because you introduced him to me. Like out on a date. Like you were like, this is Talize Fuanga.
I introduced him to the world, awesome. I gave birth to him, obviously.
Yes, so, and here we are.
Yeah, here we are. I have
that must have been painful. He's gigantic. All right, sorry.
Yeah, he was as big as he is now. Okay, so this is the dumbest podcast of all time.
This is such a dumb podcast.
25, Brian Thomas Jr., the wide receiver from LSU. 24, Nate Wiggins, the cornerback from Clemson. 23, Graham Barton, the offensive lineman from Duke. 22, A.D. Mitchell, the wide receiver from Texas. 21, Jaden Daniels, quarterback from LSU. We'll bring him up in a second. Amarius Mims, the offensive tackle from Georgia at 20. 19, Jared Verse, edge rusher from Florida State. 18, J.C. Latham, the offensive tackle from Alabama. 17, Olu Fashanu, the offensive tackle from Penn State. 16, Dallas Turner, the edge rusher from Alabama. 15, Troy Fatanu, the offensive tackle from Washington. 14, Terrion Arnold, the corner from Alabama. 13, Talize Fuanga, the offensive tackle from Oregon. 12, Byron Murphy II, defensive tackle from Texas, like a real coward. Jerzon Newton at 11, defensive tackle from Illinois. I just said Illinois as well.
Yep.
Put me in a coffin. Illinois,
the great state of Illinois.
The great state of Illinois. 9, Quinyon Mitchell, the cornerback from Toledo. 8, Cooper DeJean, the cornerback from Iowa. 7, Brock Bowers, the tight end from Georgia. 6, Roma Dunze, the Washington wide receiver. 5, Joe Alt, the offensive tackle from Notre Dame. 4, Malik Neighbors, the wide receiver from LSU. 3, and I agree with you, I'll stand there with you, he could be good, Drake May, the quarterback from North Carolina. Number 2, Marvin Harrison Jr., wide receiver from Ohio State. And number 1, Caleb Williams, the quarterback from USC. Couple talking points. Jaden Daniels at 21. I feel like I get asked about this all the time since my big board was kind of published and final. Any like radio station that I've been on, they've been like, "Oh, you got Jaden at 21. Like, do you think he's cheeks?" And it's like, no.
Radio is always mind blown by it.
Right. Because I think and then you answer the question by walking them through.
Yes,
I have a late first, early second round grade on Jaden Daniels.
Right,
but I'm also aware that Jaden is, I don't want to say a one-year wonder because he's not. He has progressed in a linear way to where you can have faith in his progression and that he's not just going to be terrible at the NFL level. But the production that he had this past year as a Heisman Trophy winner, like he was in an offense that was very tailored to like what he is able to do very well. It was a vertical offense with Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas Jr. to throw the ball to. Like he was able to hang tough in the pocket a lot. He was able to be very vertical with where his eyes were going and when he could throw the football. It wasn't a ton of like over the middle of the field stuff. He wasn't really a scrambler to throw. Anytime he was taking off, it was really like just to run. So there's a lot of things that I think people just assume that Jaden Daniels is good at, that it's like, okay, he could be, like he has the ability to be this, but it's not like you see this all the time from him. So especially the throws on the run, the scrambling, like that's not the kind of quarterback that he's been.
Right.
He had less than half the attempts on the run this year than Michael Penix Jr. did. And Penix is athletic, but like Penix's entire thing is between the tackles.
Right.
Like Penix wants to be a pocket passer, and so does Jaden. And so I think that people are just like, oh yeah, he's fast, great escapability. what an artist when he's scrambling on the run. It's like I'm not saying he can never be that, but you're telling me something that he's not. I also think his arm's not nearly as good as, I don't want to say not nearly. I'll take that back. His arm is not as good as Caleb Williams, Drake Mays, or J.J. McCarthy's in this class. And I think that it just gets classified with those guys in ways that I don't agree with. And so that's why I got him at 21. So I'll let you kind of talk about him with where he is and how he got to 21 for you. But that's where it is to me. It's the projection of what he did this past season, knowing that it's not exactly going to be a carbon copy in the NFL, even if he goes to a Cliff Kingsbury offense this next year. And just the overall arm talent compared to other NFL quarterbacks.
That's the perfect way to put it. I mean, if you want me to pull out the notes from my scouting report that are not glowing, because there are plenty of those. Electric playmaker, really hit his stride this season, compact release, can throw a touch at all three levels. Like, he has a very average arm. He is a guy that sees his targets open rather than throwing them open. Like, watch Brian Thomas Jr., watch Malik Neighbors enough, and you will know there are not as much anticipation throws as some of the other top quarterbacks in this draft. He needs to protect himself. Like, he has to protect himself. I didn't even mention that. None of this, right? Like, he is going to get clobbered because he is a runner, which is fine, not a scrambler. There's a giant difference. Lamar Jackson and Kyler Murray, when they run, because they are not the biggest guys in the world weight-wise, always protect their bodies as much as they can. And to be fair, both have been hurt, but I think they're very good at protecting themselves. Josh Allen is a maniac. Josh Allen's also like 240 pounds and 6'5". And Josh Allen probably will, when he gets older, start to feel those a little bit more and probably start to protect himself. And your wild 20s, he doesn't really care. Like, Jaden can't live like that. So, and Jaden Daniels has been knocked out of games before, right? Like that. And I think there were some moments this year that, you know, there were big spots and he didn't get it done. I understand that offense was electric, and I understand the defense was not very good and he was put in a tough spot. But I think the middle of the field throwing combined with him under pressure as a full sample size throughout his career, not just this year, are things that really, really need to grow. Yep. So he's been built up as this like slam dunk number 2 pick. And I think it's a dangerous precedent to set personally.
Yep. So we would love to hear what you guys think of our top 200s. This is the first time that we've done this on this show, that we have done these dueling top 200s to release the big board. I can't remember how many. Did we do 100 last year? Did we do 150?
Probably.
I can't remember exactly what we did, but I know we have not done 200.
We pumped the numbers up.
Yeah, those are rookie numbers. You got to pump those numbers up. Look, we love you guys. Thank you so much for rocking with us throughout this entire episode and throughout this whole process to kind of get to this point where we both have our big boards. We would love to hear from you guys as well. We know that you've been listening all draft season long, going all the way back to summer scouting. Let us know what you think of these players. Hey, look, if you've got a big board out there and you don't have anywhere to put it in the damn comments. Let's see it.
Right.
I don't care.
Yep.
I don't care how many. I don't care how many prospects you have on there. YouTube does the read more thing anyway. So if you've got if you got 150 guys that you're proud of, that you watch, that you rank, throw it in the comments, man. I can't guarantee that we're gonna respond to the nuances of the rankings of all of them, but the people who listen to this podcast will see it, and maybe you'll have a little bit of good back and forth with some of this. You can throw in whatever commentary you want. We would love to hear from you. Let us know what you thought of our rankings. We would love to hear yours as well. Best way to do that, youtube.com/@NFL Stock Exchange. If you are audio only, this podcast is probably a roller coaster for you, so my apologies, but you can hit us up on Twitter and on Instagram as well, at Connor J. Rogers, and then at Tampa Bay Trey as well.
Never really thought of that.
Yeah, let's salute to you if you've been audio only. We really appreciate you guys rocking with us through everything. Connor, I'm so excited, man. This week is going to be so much fun. The next episode that we have for the good people, I believe, is our final predictive mock draft, right? I think that's next on the schedule.
We will do, like we did last year, I would assume, try together to predict round 1.
Yes.
It's not, I see some people tweeting at us like final 3-rounder and stuff. I think to me, we've done a lot of those or enough of those. And those are a little rapid fiery and a little bit of, after round 1, it starts to be like, hey, I think this might make sense. Right. This is Trevor and I doing every pick together, trying to nail down like, hey man, this is what we think is going to happen.
This is what we think is going to happen. That episode's going to come out Wednesday evening. So you guys can have all of what we hope is Wednesday night. And then all of Thursday leading up to the draft to watch it or review it. And then, like we said this last week, but in case you missed it, Connor and I will go live. We'll do a live show right after the draft right after round 1 of the NFL draft is over. So that Thursday night, which will bleed into Friday or very early Friday morning after midnight, we will go live and we will give you our reaction to everything that we saw on night 1 of the draft. We won't have a reaction after night 2. We won't have an instant reaction after night 3, but then on Sunday, we will have our draft grades episode for you guys. So that is the schedule that we have moving forward. Make sure you guys check out Connor's Big Board over at NBC Sports. Make sure that you are bookmarking and following his tweets for where you can watch all of the content that they've got going on during draft weekend. At PFF, I'm going to be on the desk again with Sam and Steve and some other analysts as well, covering the draft live stream night 1, night 2, day 3 of the draft, and then there's recap shows as well. So we would love for you to hang out in as many ways as you can with both of those shows. That would mean a lot, as much as you guys are listening to this podcast and doing a lot as well. Connor, did I forget anything before we get out of here?
You nailed it, man. You nailed it. I think that was quite the episode. It was just cool. A lot. It was a lot in a good way.
You know what? We've made a lot of history on this podcast this year. In horrible ways. No, I'm just kidding. In really great ways when it's come to like ranking, having a 30 wide receiver ranking episode, or doing more 3-round mock drafts, or doing a top 200. And it has been so rewarding and so much fun to see that every time we kind of push the envelope here on this channel, you guys seem to embrace it. And
right.
you want to get involved. And not only do you watch the videos, you comment on them, you get into the conversation. Like, that stuff means the world. And it makes us want to be more creative in everything that we do. And I can already tell you that the 2025 draft cycle, we're going to have so much fun, and it's going to be a blast. But we gotta find out where these guys are going for 2024 first. I'm Trevor Sikkema. That is Connor Rogers. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening to the NFL Stock Exchange podcast. We'll see you guys on Wednesday.